Today I'm here with Ericka from Provide and Conquer Enterprises, LLC. And I'm going to be asking her some questions about how she got started with her business and her journey to getting here.
I'm Ericka. I am a tarot reader, and I'm studying quantum healing hypnosis therapy, also known as QHHT. I provide meditations, I do tarot spreads, but the biggest part of my business right now is as a tarot reader.
What inspired you to start your journey?
There wasn't necessarily one big inspiration. I've always been interested in spirituality and religion, and especially anything that gives me information to make decisions, because I overthink, but I like having all of the information to process so that I feel like more comfortable that I'm making the right decision. And tarot is something that does that for me. It gives me an ability to look at the energy of all the aspects of what's going on and make my decisions. So that kind of what it does for me kind of inspired me to be able to do it for other people, because I would read for friends and family members along the way, but I hadn't necessarily thought about doing it as a business until other people kind of pointed out, like, you're really good at this and you could charge. So yeah, that was kind of the inspiration.
Was there a specific experience or aha moment that led you to start your business?
To make it a business, there was a little bit of one in the group that I'm in with my, I have a mentor, Michelle McGinnis, and we do a group, She Builds. And prior to doing She Builds, where it's female entrepreneurs, it was more of we were learning human design. And so learning my design, made a big difference. And then throughout our group's meetings, we would pull cards at the end, and something about that, like, kind of lit me up getting those messages for other people, especially when they would hit and it would like be meaningful to be something that helped the other person. Something about that just kind of was like, yeah, I really like doing this, and it's easy, and it kind of went from there.
I love that.
Yeah,
that it felt easy for you. It was just like natural.
Yeah,
like second nature.
Yes, because it was something about it, like I believe it was my friend Carolyn, who's also in the group. When I would read, like, the message would be really clear to me, and I thought it would be like that for everybody. And so when people would point out, like, how are you getting that from me? Like, how are you getting that so easily? I was like, that's not, something clicked about, like, that's not the case for everybody. Like, what? Like, I thought it was just like that for everybody, but apparently it's not. So yeah.
You're way more in tune to it.
Yeah, something about it I really connect with the cards a lot.
What challenges did you face in the beginning of getting your business started, and how did you overcome them?
So initially, the biggest challenge is myself. Like, having the confidence to feel like like I said, I thought it was easy for everybody. So really overcoming the idea that I could do this and that I'm good enough at this to charge people was a big step, and stepping away from what I was already doing and the kind of the safety of, because having a 9-to-5 and the security in that.
Yep.
So being like, it was that was probably the biggest challenge, was like being willing to step away from the security there into what I kept being called to do. Like, it was like I was being called to do it, and letting go of my own insecurities and actually following the call was the biggest challenge.
Yeah. So how did you find the courage?
The courage came from my group because it's a group of so many amazing women, and they're just the amount of support and them reinforcing that, no, you're really good at this. Like, it's something about other people seeing things in you that you don't necessarily see in yourself. And then in that group, like I said, it's an amazing group of women who I had so much like that I kind of look up to a lot, and I'm like, they're so amazing at what they do. And to see that those women also have questioned their abilities, or they also have these moments of like not trusting themselves, is like, wait, I'm not the only one. Like, it's not just me. Because I always would feel like, I'm in this group of amazing women. What am I doing here? Like, and realizing that I do have a place here, and like, I belong with them. That, and them encouraging that and reinforcing that group really helped a lot.
Yeah, because it can feel very lonely and isolating if you don't have that support.
Yes.
Which I think we all kind of go through little periods of that.
Yes. And
it makes you really appreciate the community.
It does. It, like, especially here at the sanctuary, the women here, it's just like, it's an amazing group of people. And I feel like it's like, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. Like, it's amazing to have that support. But the other thing that really helped was having readings be really accurate. Like, I was asking for my guides for signs that I'm supposed to do this, and like, let me have messages that it's like, there's no way that this can't be right. Or that like, and I had some readings that were, I'm like, this feels like a movie, and then within weeks my client would give me feedback that like, you're never gonna believe what happened. And it would work out just how I said. And I was like, okay, yeah, I didn't make it all up. It's real.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
So did you have any challenging situations that you had to overcome with, like, say, with a client you were reading for?
The challenging situations have come with clients who are new to it and have these kind of preconceived ideas about what tarot is, that they come in either wanting you to predict the future or wanting you to kind of make decisions for them, or this expectation of like, they might go to a tarot reader expecting something that you would get more from a psychic, or and just kind of not understanding what to expect from you. So navigating those readings were, one in particular was a really challenging one, where a woman came in, and it was just like, and it was when I was just stepping out into doing it as a business. So it kind of knocked my confidence down a little bit, where she's like, this is going on, but you didn't pick up on that. So I guess I'll tell you, like, and I was just like, well, that's not what, this is. And it wasn't related, but giving women it was good to have that challenge, because what it did was let me know what I have to do to prepare clients, to make sure that they're aware of what I do, so that they come into the reading knowing what to expect already, and it's not, I don't have to keep facing that same challenge. And it helped me to prepare. Like, I let them know, this is what we do. We are looking at the energy of what's going on, and we're giving you the ability to make an informed decision. I'm not going to tell you you should do this or you should do this. I'm going to tell you, this is what it looks like if you go with this option. This is what it looks like if you go with this option, and you get to decide. You don't, because we like to we like to kind of give our power up, especially when things are hard and we're overwhelmed. We don't want to make decisions. We want somebody else to make the decision for us. And it's really easy to do that because we're human and life can be hard. But that's a challenge, is like preparing women to, like, no, you get to have the power to make your own decisions. You have the onus on you. I'm just helping you know what is in store either way, and making that decision based off of like all of the information.
So what is your why in your work, and what keeps you motivated?
My why is being able to help people. Like, no matter what I do, or over the course of time, just I'm big on being able to help and support others. And so just like that vision of somebody coming to me with a problem. I'm a problem solver. I love being able to solve problems, but also empowering people to solve their own problems. So like that look of somebody who comes to me and you can almost like see the weight that they're carrying, and then when you see them at the end and you see the lightness or you see the relief, that really drives me, because like, and just trying to be somebody who lightens the load in the world. Like things are heavy, and it's not sustainable. We can't go on like this. So just doing my part, however small, however big it turns out to be, in making things a little lighter in the world, that motivates me and keeps me going.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you have any kind of personal spiritual practices or like rituals that you do that help you with your business?
With my business, yes. Yeah. In my own practice, I call in angels, I call in guides, for myself, like personally and in my business. So when I'm like, let's say a day in the life, if I'm waking up first thing in the morning, I try to start my day with like being grateful for at least 3 things. And then I do a prayer in which I call, I ask God, the universe, source to call in my angels and my guides and my ancestors and all those of the highest vibration to like guide me throughout my day and to give me signs and synchronicities. And so depending on what I'm doing that day, I might reach out to different angels for their, whatever they're, for Saint Michael or Archangel Michael for protection, or Raphael for my health. Just kind of depend. Metatron for, if I'm having readings, a lot of times I'll call on him for access to Akashic records, so that because like I said, I like all the information. So I kind of like to have all those things. And if I have clients that I know I'm going to see that day, I'll ask for their guides to come in so that they can kind of connect our energy and get me ready to have what they need to hear. And in my practice, like I do, I like incorporate what I'm doing for myself to spill over into what I'm doing for other people, because I wouldn't want to do for anybody else what I wouldn't do for myself. So I ask that in what I'm doing, that it's for the highest good of everyone. And then like even the things that I do personally, sometimes those pop up, like my guides will show me that, because that might be something that would help my client. Like I've given that the prayer that I do to so many people, when especially people who really want to step into like leaning into their own intuition, because it really calls in a lot of signs and synchronicities and asks for that like direct guidance. So like a lot of my personal stuff, I don't gatekeep. I like, if it works for me, I'm gonna share it.
Yeah.
For as spiritual as I can be, I'm a Virgo and I can be very analytical, and so sometimes I really need for things to make sense, or I need to see that they make sense, and that they work. And so having that personal experience or proof really helps me feel comfortable in sharing things.
How has working in your field of tarot reading and guiding others changed or shaped who you are today?
This made me a whole lot more confident in myself, and in my like abilities, and in my journey and my call, because I led for a long time, religion was more prominent in what I did, and it had me constantly doubting myself, and because I would be called to other things, but in my religion it was like, no, that's wrong. And so it was constantly like, I was like constantly fighting myself. And so stepping away from that and being like, no, you're connecting with divine God energy. Like, what can be wrong about that? You're calling in angels. So, it's given me confidence in what I do. And but I think even bigger than confidence maybe is calm. Like calm for everything going on in the world. I used to be such an anxious person. Like I was on, anxiety medication and depression medication, and like had so much. I had medication for depression. I had medication for anxiety. I had medication to help me sleep because of the anxiety. And I've gotten to a place of not needing any of that, and it's helped me to understand that, because what comes out in my own readings and the readings I do for other people and that connection that I have now is an understanding that even the hard stuff, even the difficult stuff, even the challenges, number one, everything happens for your highest good. Like that's number one. Whatever you're facing, it's for your best, for your better. And then the other thing that's a constant reminder in cards is how supported we are. That we always have a connection to something bigger than ourselves. And more than one person, but like we have so much support on the other side, and we just have to ask for it. And so that's like shifted so much of like even how I wake up in the morning. Like I used to wake up cranky and not even want to get out of bed and not start the day and like, oh, what am I going to deal with today? And now it's like I look forward to my day. I look forward to, I can wake up and be grateful and like, I don't know, this might be touchy, but like with, I'll say the political climate, like however things turned out, I felt just unaffected. Like the first time around, I would have, had this been, 5 or 6 years ago, I would have been crying and distraught and sitting in fear of, like everybody wants to take our rights and I just didn't have any of that this time around. And I was just like, okay, whatever is meant to be will be. And it gave me that empowerment that I am the creator of my world. So I create the life that I want. I get to create and pick and choose. So I can't give the power over my life into some, who's holding this political position or that one. So it's really given me that. And if nothing else, that's been the biggest gift of all. Peace, yes.
Yeah. What other jobs have you had previously? What other fields have you worked in? And what did you learn from them that you apply to your business today?
Okay, so I've been a kind of a jackie of all trades. I've done a lot of things, but to keep it brief, I came into Tarot from a career in childcare. It was like almost 17-year career in childcare. And I used to teach childbirth classes and parenting classes. And so this is really support in a different way, because even in the care that I would provide, I've always been like a nurturer and wanting to help. And so in childcare, the bigger part of my job that I loved, besides like being able to play with babies and be a part of that, is like helping the new parents and guiding the new parents. And I would have so many parents who I still keep their cards now. Their thank you cards are full of like, you made me feel confident in being a parent. Like you made me feel like I could do this. Or, I don't know how we would have survived the first year without you. And like that kind of thing, it was really meaningful. Like that was my favorite part of my job. And you learn patience when you're working with kids. You learn patience, heavy. So taking that aspect of patience and seeing the different lives of many parents and many kids, many families, you learn to not judge. So in what I do now, that's really helped me to go into this with no judgment, where people can feel comfortable coming to me with whatever issue they're dealing with without feeling like they're going to be judged for it. And then on top of that, I feel like and I hear that nurturing side comes through. Somebody may have had another tarot reader that they used to, where they felt very like the message was coming through harsh, or like the person was kind of telling them what to do. Whereas they're like, for you, it's like, I feel like I'm talking to my mom. So I like that. Like, it feels good to be someone who feels like a safe space for people. So, and I went from, working with moms and babies that way into, because the majority of my clientele now is moms, or not moms, but women. And so that kind of carries through.
Describe your services, products, offerings that you provide, and how they help others.
Okay, so I provide tarot readings mostly, and I'm studying QHHT, so I will be providing those past life regressions and hypnosis therapy, and I also do I make meditations because I hear my voice is soothing. And I've done a few meditations in some of the classes that I do. I teach tarot as well, as learning it, because I think, like I said, I like that empower. I don't want to be the only person that you come to. I don't want you to always come to me for the answers. So I like teaching people how to read their own cards so that they can feel empowered in themselves. But that sense of empowerment and that sense of clarity and support is probably what people get from it the most. Getting answers. And a big part of it is learning to trust themselves, because especially now that the veil is really thinning and we're coming into this age of Aquarius, so many readings have pointed out for people that their own intuition. And I lost count of the number of readings, even in the past month, that I've done, where somebody comes to me and in the cards is showing me like that they're really intuitive, but that they don't trust it. And so like getting them to feel confident, and like telling them that it's okay to, like, they're not crazy when they think that the song that they're hearing on the radio is related to what they were thinking, or when they felt like they should do something and it turned out that they were right and they should have listened to themselves, like to lean into that more, because it's not just a one-off kind of thing, and so sometimes you just see the relief in people just knowing that, man, I really can trust myself, like I'm more connected than I feel.
How do you develop your services to suit your clients' needs?
That's an interesting one. I, more than anything, I started off, like I said, asking my guides and angels to kind of give me the information that needs to come forward for whoever I'm working with that day. But I also, as being the person who likes to know all the things, I constantly read books on different people's approaches, even now. And I just like to be aware of different ways of doing things, or different people's takes on doing things. And sometimes I'll hear something just by chance, and I will have needed that information to pass on to somebody who I have, I'll be using it within a week for somebody else's. It's like, oh, that's why that came through. That's why this person told me how they see this card, even though that's not how I usually see that card. Because in this person's reading, the way that I normally would have seen, interpreted a card would not have been the case for them. So I like to expand, and have a lot at my fingertips to be able to know, there's not one hard and fast way to read a card that's going to apply to everybody, because the way that a card might need to be interpreted for a different reading can be different. And I also, because I'm an intuitive reader, I feel the things, so that I can adjust depending on the person. I might, for a lot of women, stuff comes in the throat where we're not feeling heard, or we're not speaking our truth. So I tune into my body during the reading and see where things are cropping up that kind of give me the message. And sometimes people's guides or loved ones who have passed over have come through. And that's been pretty recent. It's I want to say in the past 6 months or so, maybe 7, where I've had readings where someone who's passed has come through. And that was was really new, but that's another way that they give me that information that needs to be, relayed to the person.
How did you feel about that when that started happening?
I don't know, it was kind of exciting and kind of like, whoa, you know, like, because I know I've known readers who it happens for. The first time that it happened to me was with someone who has a crystal shop, and we were in the crystal shop. So like all that energy was amplified by having so much around us, and it was like, I was just like, wow. Like it was kind of surreal, but then I was just kind of grateful that like this is one more tool in the tool chest that, you know, can be incorporated. But I don't go in with that expectation. I'm just like, if somebody shows up for somebody, they show up. And I'm trying to, because it's still new, I try to get in the habit of asking people, do they want to hear messages if it comes through? Because it's not always nice to be like blindsided. Oh, by the way, you know, your great Uncle Joe is here. He has a message for you. Yeah. When they're just coming in for a tarot reading. So I try to not blindside them and just say, you know, because, you know, sometimes a message comes through and the person may not be open to hearing it. So I try to respect that and then understand that when they're ready, they'll be ready. And no matter what the message is, it'll come to them in another way if it doesn't come through me. So just being okay with that.
What is your favorite service that you offer right now?
My favorite right now are the readings, because, and I just love them. I just love, I love connecting with the cards, and I love, so my favorite of the readings, I do, because I offer different times. I offer, sometimes if I'm I like being at an event and doing mini readings, because I kind of get this quick snapshot from multiple people. But I really, really enjoy when I do like 1 hour deep dive readings, because it's really cool. Because I'll usually have a client, if we're doing an hour, it comes with like 3 to 5 questions or things that they want to address. And to see like the connections, because they could have 2 very different questions that they're asking about, but usually they're connected. And to see that, and to see like I'm trying to think, they're like somebody coming with what they think is like a silly question. They're like, I know this is silly, but I just, you know, I'm wondering what kind of car I should buy. And sometimes what's coming to, like, if you're coming to a reader with that, usually it's way more to the question. It's deeper than just what kind of car do you want to buy. And it might be related to like that decision. Like there might be something within why it's difficult for you to make that decision, or what that signifies for you. Like I've had readings where like simple questions, it's like tied so much deeper, and it kind of makes sense, because if it was really that simple, you wouldn't have to ask somebody else for their, you know, perspective on it. So that I really like I like the deep dives where I get to kind of, I feel like the person, like the detective who's got the strings and is like connecting all of this. So I like that.
How do you stay balanced and centered while helping others through your work?
So I have a practice of putting myself in my bubble or zipping up my energy so that I'm not taking it on. Grounding is really important. Trying to get outside, get my feet in the dirt, or work with dirt if it's cold like today, just working with my plants. And leaving, like clearing my space. And whenever somebody guides or loved ones come in, letting them know, like, you don't have to go, you know, you don't have to go with them, but you gotta go. We're done here. You're not, you know, having boundaries about what I'm willing to read for. Like I don't do, I ask to not really get messages about death, and not to, it's really interesting, because one of the things that almost was like a hesitation with reading was like, I didn't want to have like the you know, the cliche, is he gonna leave his wife for me? Kind of like the dramatic, just like more negative stuff. And I haven't. Like I set the intention that those wouldn't be the kinds of readings that I would get, and I haven't. So just kind of putting up my energetic boundaries of like what kind of energy I'm willing to work with has been important. And releasing, like I have a ritual in the shower that I just, imagine the water as pure white light, divine light that's just clearing any of the negative stuff, or it's just stuff that doesn't belong to me, watching it go down the drain. Those things really, really help.
Do you have, you kind of already talked about your favorite tool, technique in your practice?
I do sometimes I don't offer it for everybody, but once in a while I'll offer divination, where if their question is more yes, no to things or situations, I have a divination board and a pendulum, and we'll go to that. And I've had that come through more recently, and so that's really been kind of fun to work with, because it's just like another, I like having all the tools in the toolbox, and that one has been really fun to get those more immediate, like we might ask the questions that are yes or no, and then look at the cards for, why, because sometimes just knowing yes or no isn't enough, but understanding that it's yes because of this, and then it's no because of this. I really like that, but I'm most excited about getting into the QHHT, because just having that, there's something about having that access to the higher self where all the knowledge is. I'm just like it's like taking a kid to the New York Toys R Us or the New York candy store, where I'm like, oh my God, all the things are here. Like, I picture it like the Beauty and the Beast library, and because that's in my house, I will have a library that I need a ladder for. Like, I want the floor to ceiling books, all the knowledge, and so I just like, I'm kind of giddy for when that comes, and having people who are willing to practice and let me like ask all the questions about the universe and about why we're here, and that I'm just, it really makes me excited. I can't wait.
I can feel your excitement.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's
cool. I can't wait for you to do that.
Yes.
What is the most rewarding part of working with your clients?
I think I kind of covered this, but it's
touched on it, I think.
It's that like that release, that, and knowing that I'm doing my part, like knowing that, because I used to be hesitant, because I would feel like it's easy for us to feel like we have to like fix the world, like having the world on our shoulders, and understanding that like the way to fix or enlighten the world is like one person at a time, one thing at a time, and getting to a place where you're able to let go of the pressure to like fix the whole world. And just my old pastor had this saying. He would be like, you don't have to light up the world, you just light up the corner that you're on. And like that, being able to be that light, and
it has like a ripple effect.
Yes, like I have like one of my favorite cards is that in the Light Seer deck there's the Queen of Wands, and she's just like so joyful, and she's holding this little fire in her hand, and then there's candles like all around her, and it's just that idea of like you having your light being like lighting up all the candles around you. It's like that light spreading, that ripple effect. It's like it only takes a spark to illuminate, because it does work that way. It works on, the negative and the positive. To do damage, it only takes one person, it only takes one person's negative
so true
mindset to like pass on to others. So if I can work to spread the light and the positive side to combat, that other side, it's rewarding. And to see that the results is really rewarding.
Did you always feel like you had a sense of deeper purpose, like since you were younger?
Yes. Yeah, that was even when I was I remember I always like had this something where I just wanted to like make people feel better. And I remember there was a situation way back, it was probably like third grade. The memory is so vivid, where my friend got in trouble for something, and like I swore I was so philosophical. she was like, every time I, think about blah, 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 it like, it makes me feel sad and I, I gave her this metaphor about somebody coming to a doctor with an injury and he's like, every time I move my arm like this, it hurts. And he's like, well, just don't move your arm like that. But it was like, if it hurts, don't do it. So I was just like, and you couldn't tell me that I wasn't giving her like the most sage advice.
It was like very
in
wise
third grade.
Years.
It's like, well, if it hurts, don't do it. And just like, and I have the memory ingrained. We're like walking down the hallway, and she's like, tearing up and telling me, and I'm just like, well, if it hurts, don't do it. Yeah, but yes, to answer the shorter answer is, I have always had that. It's almost this sense of responsibility, a sense of being called to something higher. Like I would get messages and hear things even when I was really young. I lost a lot of that in conditioning over the years because it would be like, we teach kids that, it's just your imagination and so you learn to like stuff that down. But I had a situation, even one that kind of saved my life. I was playing in a friend's yard down the street on their swing set. And they had like this huge tree, huge tree in their yard. And so we were all swinging at first. It was like, I think 3 or 4 of us. And then a couple of the girls had gone to the fence to like, I think it was like a dog or something over there. And I swore that I heard them call me over. Like I just heard my name being called and it's like to go over. And so I get up and I go over and I'm like, did one of you call, like who called me over here? And as soon as I got over there, the tree in their yard snapped and crushed the swing set. Like, oh and none of them had called me. Like they were like, no, we didn't call, but I clearly heard my name being called. And I remember, I was in the Catholic religion at the time. And I remember telling that story in church. Like that was, I don't have a lot of moments because like I'm uncomfortable sometimes with being seen and like I battle that idea of being judged. But there have been times where something has been so profound that like I couldn't not share it. And that was one. And I just remember, being, I want to say 12 years old, 11 or 12 years old. And being at the front of the church. And it was a big Catholic church in Jersey. And just like telling my story. And the people, the adults, coming up and telling me, how brave I was to share that. And, that was really reaffirming. And just being so sure that like, if nobody else called me, then it was either an angel or the voice of God himself, herself, their self, just, protecting me. So, yeah,
definitely. I got chills.
Yeah. I think about it even now and I'm just like, wow. And I've like, that was probably one of the earlier, but there've been a lot of situations where I've listened to a call and either myself or somebody else, sometimes in like almost a life or death type situation. And it's really, really shown me the level of protection that connection and it's reaffirming that like, no, you're here for a reason and we need to keep you here because your job's not done. So
how do you build trust and connection with the people you work with?
The biggest thing for me, I think, with building trust is being honest, giving them, like I don't try to sugarcoat things. I try to be gentle and I don't give people messages to create fear. Whatever message I remind them, like, just how it helps me to know that it's for my highest good, and that that I have support on the other side, that there's this connection that's to something deeper. I remind my clients of that. And I said, I'm very honest about what this reading is, that I'm not, a fortune teller. I'm not going to give you the winning lottery numbers. So I try to have that trust by setting realistic expectations and being honest about what I do. And if I have something that comes through that doesn't feel right, then I don't share it. Or and if somebody thought I was really off, I'm like, okay, well, we can do a refund. But and I've only had that, I've had it once where somebody was not resonating with the message, but we ended up repulling the cards, and the same stuff kept coming through. And I offered a refund, but they're like, and some of the stuff they did identify with, but the one particular thing that they're like, no, later it was right. Oh, wow. So but I will, if you feel like I'm really that off, I don't mind giving you a refund. Like, I'm not attached to that. Like, I want you to walk away not feeling like you've been taken advantage of or swindled, or and I'm not going to say, oh, let's how do I put this? Like, I don't set people up to feel like they have to rely on me. Like, I think I said that earlier. Like, I don't my goal is not to have somebody who needs to have a tarot reading every week to function or to feel, because I'd rather have a bunch of new clients or a bunch of different people coming to me than the same people, because I want whoever's working with me to eventually be confident enough and empowered enough to make decisions on their own, to trust their own intuition, to where they don't necessarily have to constantly go to seek the answers or seek further guidance. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, because I pull my cards every day, but it means more to me that you feel empowered and that you feel confident in making your own decisions than having somebody who's like, oh, I need a reading, And I try to have the integrity of not, if I feel like someone got to that point or someone's relying on me too much, I will, almost like the bartender, like, you're cut off, like, because you don't want to I don't want anyone giving their power away. I don't want anybody else's power. Trying to handle my own responsibility is enough. So I think by doing what I do with integrity, that comes through, and people don't feel taken advantage of.
What are your goals or dreams that you still have for your business?
Okay. So incorporating the QHHT is a big one. But there's a lot of things that have kind of trickled in, like starting a podcast, writing a book. But that's all more down the line. The biggest goal now is just like increasing who my reach and who I get to, because there's almost this like urgency to like, I don't know if other people feel it, like there's this urgency to like elevate things and raise the vibration of what's going on, because there's so much uncertainty and fear that there's like this pressure to combat that and to like reassure people that they're okay, and not have everyone walking around feeling so heavy.
Yes. I totally get that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just me. I didn't mention a lot throughout this. I also do Reiki, and that helps. It helps. In that same way of like healing those energies and raising that vibration, because it can get heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So hopefully they're looking out for a podcast, a book. The book is probably way down the line. I don't have time for that right now. But
it's a commitment.
Yeah, and I practice out of here at the sanctuary. I'm at CW. I'm in kind of working on this place in Pottstown. So there's goals to like be able to kind of spread my message, and maybe even having something that's a little more set and not so like pulling me in several directions. So a goal is kind of figuring out where exactly but unless I am supposed to be everywhere, then if that's the case, that's the case. But it would be nice to have, be more settled.
What brought you to the sanctuary? Like, what was the path that led you here?
So I have, Carolyn is my friend. She's a farmer in Coopersburg. And then it was kind of this trail of breadcrumbs that kind of breadcrumbs connection, however you want to see it. But with visiting Carolyn on her farm, and she introduced me to Michelle, which introduced me to the group. And then working through the group, most of them are based here in Quakertown. The long-term goal is to have something like the sanctuary, have a space that people can come and heal and just be. And I'm fine right now with just being a part of that with other people. So eventually I'll branch out maybe years from now and have that for myself.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, because I think you can never have too much. It's not it's not competition, it's collaboration, as I like to think of it, because there's enough of a need for it that it can be all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who is just starting out with a holistic business?
To go for it, for one. That for me, that was the hardest thing, is like taking that leap, and to trust themselves in it, to always operate with the highest integrity, because it shows. Be your authentic self, because that's what's going to gravitate people to you. And if it's tarot specifically, really connecting with the cards and valuing yourself. That's a big one. That was hard for me. And before if you're new to reading cards, I would say before you go towards charging, doing like exchanges with people, because there's a lot of resources. I'm in a few like Facebook groups for card reading, or Reddit groups for card reading, where there's swaps that people do, but don't read for free. Because when you're doing anything with energy or spirituality, I think that it's important for there to be an energetic exchange. So it doesn't have to be you paid readings, but there should be some kind of exchange, like exchange of services. Maybe somebody's walking your dog and you're reading cards for them. It doesn't have to be, something crazy particular, or it doesn't have to be money, because I understand that we need money, but I don't like the way that we use money now. Like I would love to be somewhere where it was all just bartering. Like I miss the barter system. I incorporate it now. Like I'd rather trade services and classes with people than it having to be like money. Even though we still live in a reality where money is necessary. But that's I think is important to understand, to value yourself, and not give too much of yourself away, and I know this is getting long, but protecting your energy, setting those boundaries for not taking on the energy that you're that you're around all day, making sure that you're drinking plenty of water, resting, taking care of yourself. And I do have a rule of not, practicing if I don't have it in me. Like I don't force myself to do readings. If I took a break, I lost my aunt, and I was really, mentally not there. So I didn't do readings during that time, didn't hold classes during that time, because I want to be able to be there energetically for my clients, and not be extra draining on myself, because I think that that's important. So understanding your boundaries, protecting your energy, and having those, it's okay, it's okay to take a break if you need it. So I do that for myself. It's hard, and it's hard, especially once it's your business and it's your income and it's tied to that. It can be difficult, but I think it's really important to protect yourself in that way, and like understand and trust that the universe is going to look out, because it always does.
If you could go back to when you first started, is there anything you would do differently?
I like to think that I could go back and like do it start sooner, and get myself, tell myself to trust myself sooner. But I know I wouldn't have. Like when I think about the questions, like when you ask someone if you could go to when you're 16, what advice would you? Because I did have people encouraging me to do it, and that didn't make the difference. So I'm like, I know that that the me at that time wouldn't have been ready or listened. So I would have liked to have started sooner and had more confidence, but everything works out the way it's supposed to in the timing that it is.
And my last question is, tell us where we can find more information about you and your services, how we can get in contact with you. Are you on social media?
Okay, so I am on social media. I have 2 Instagram pages. One is specific to just tarot, is Lightseer Ericka. And then I have Provide and Conquer LLC on IG. I'm Lightseer Ericka on TikTok. Provide and Conquer Enterprises, I think, on YouTube, but I don't have much going on YouTube right now. And then Provide and Conquer Enterprises on Facebook. Or you can call me. I have on all of my socials, there's a link tree that that connects you to everything. So you can find me at the Sanctuary. You can find me at Quakertown, Complete Wellness in Quakertown. And I do virtual. I do, like, if you're further away, I have a client who's all the way in California. So, and in multiple states, actually. I just did one with someone in Colorado yesterday. But yeah, that's how you can find me around Quakertown, Norristown, King of Prussia, Pottstown, and the interweb.
Well, I love hearing your story.
Thank you.
It's a very beautiful story, and there's a lot of similarities between our stories.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. And I appreciate you taking the time to share your story with me.